What is going on, guys? Eric here with Bolts and Banter, coming at you with another video, and today we are here on the driveway about to work on the cheapy Civic, and we have a cool product here today. It is the ATOTO P8, and that is today's sponsor. It is ATOTO. They were nice enough to send us a P8 on-dash Navigator. This is similar to their head units that they have on Amazon. I'm sure if you guys have been watching enough Amazon videos, you'll see that some car guys use ATOTO head units, and while I would love an ATOTO double din or single din head unit, it doesn't quite work in the cheapy Civic, so I opted for this P8 instead. It is basically a glorified GPS. Remember the TomTom GPSs that you used to put on your dashboard? Well, this is very similar, and instead of just being a GPS navigator, it has Apple Carplay, and that's something we don't currently have in the cheapy Civic, so I'm super excited to get this unboxed and installed and give you guys a video review. So enough talking, let's get in the car and let's get this unboxed. So ATOTO mentioned to me that they're actually not like Pioneer, and they're not like Alpine, and they're not as big as those other brands, but I have heard of ATOTO previously in the past just by watching other car videos. And while Pioneer and Alpine might be a trusted brand, in my personal experience, to pay $350 for a head unit that only has wired CarPlay functionality is not that good of a deal. So we are going to give this a try and see if it is actually worth purchasing. So let's do a quick unboxing and let's see what we have. So the box seems super nice quality, very Apple-esque. And here's what we have inside. We have quick start guide, which I think we're definitely going to need to read. We have the actual user's manual, bunch of wires, and the unit itself. So ATOTO actually told me when I was picking out a unit to test out that they have plug-and-play harnesses available for a multitude of vehicles. That way, if you're not familiar with wiring work and you don't want to cut and splice wires to create your own wiring harness, they have plug-and-play harnesses available. If you have a car that they have a harness for, it would make install a lot easier. This one, though, plugs into your existing radio in order to output the audio. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hopefully just using this cassette adapter and then using the audio out from here. Looks like we also have more power wires here. This looks to be the power cable. It's really nice. It actually has provisions for, it's got MP3, so one USB is for an iPod or an iPhone, I guess. And then this one is for charging, and it looks to be either a 2 amp or a 3 amp charger, and it has auxiliary out as well. This Honda Civic only has one cigarette lighter, so it's nice to see that ATOTO included a charger here. That way I don't lose any charging functionality, because I still need a plug for my iPhone charger. This is like a mini DIN connector for the power. And it goes into this little gooseneck thing there. Looks like this is a camera that we can add. We have this steering wheel remote control, which, if I'm honest, I don't think many users are going to use, but it is nice to have. It looks like a little watch for your steering wheel. It's even got the rubber band. I'm just gonna go ahead and try and see how it is to install it. I personally don't think I'll be using this on the steering wheel, but it does hold pretty nicely. They were nice enough to include an extra one over here. So good on you, ATOTO. Thinking ahead. We have a bunch of zip ties, definitely necessary. Cable, what looks to be cable organizers. Those will be helpful as well. We have this black strip. I think that's to hold some wires down. That might be for the camera. I'm gonna put these all together. I'm gonna try to assemble it. And again, every vehicle is gonna be different. We're installing this in a 1995 Honda Civic. So if you have a car similar to that, I'm pretty sure install will be the same. It's just a matter of, let's see if we're gonna mount this on the dashboard or if we're gonna mount this on the windshield. We'll be right back. Okay, so the screen goes like that. Before we go ahead and mount this on the dash, I unwrapped the P8 unit, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick little tour of it. It looks really nice. So it has a non-glossy screen, which I do appreciate. That's going to help a lot with fingerprints, and it's also going to help a lot with glare. Some of the higher end units and the name brand head units don't do an anti-glare screen, and they get dirty really quickly. On the back of the unit, there is a sensor for the light. So when it gets dark, it's going to auto dim. It has the power button here, just like you would find in your typical standard or old school GPS unit, and the USB-C output is actually for the camera, and this is the wire that goes to the cigarette lighter or the power adapter. So it looks like we can mount it like that, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Within this cable is the audio out from this unit. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plug this into here. I do believe all of these units are Android based. More or less you're gonna get the same user interface, but I do think that ATOTO's, at least at first glance before using it, is very nice. Let's check to see how responsive the screen is and how fluid things are. Cool, that's audio output. So this looks very Apple-esque. I know I just said that it looks like an Android unit, but it does kind of have some Apple to it. Okay, that's volume. We don't have CarPlay yet. We have a phone here. Those are just some settings. That's Bluetooth. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hook up to the Wi-Fi, set the date and everything off camera, and we will be right back. So I have my Bluetooth menu up already, and it looks like this is the ATOTO unit. Use CarPlay. And we're connected. So let's see. Whoa, there's the Spotify. So it has its own speaker, which quite frankly sounds pretty terrible. When I had toggled the screen earlier while I was touching it, I actually turned audio output off, and that's why the audio output would output through this thing. And I think this comes with a small speaker. That way you can use it for turn-by-turn directions and alerts, exactly like an old GPS would, but we're gonna use the audio output. All right, so we are gonna do a little bit of testing off camera. I'm gonna come back and show you guys what I like and what I don't like about this unit, but it's really simple to install this effectively. If you're only using the unit itself without a camera, you're only looking at one wire here and then another wire from the power adapter that will go to your stereo. Also going to try the quality of the dash cam as well off camera, and once I figure that out, I'll be back with my findings. Alright guys, so I just had to borrow the SD card from my GoPro and I stuck it in the ATOTO P8, hooked up the camera just to show you guys what kind of quality we're dealing with. There's a lot of sun glare, so that is going to factor in, but as you guys can see, it is a pretty good camera. Let me show you guys that over there. So it is pretty versatile. You can mount it on your windshield for a front-facing camera, or you can mount it facing backwards, so that's what it's going to look like, facing the rear of the car, so you can have a fishbowl view of everything, including me. Hey, what's going on? I would say that this camera is definitely an asset to the unit, although I wouldn't be purchasing this P8 unit just for the dash cam functionality itself. All right guys, so I have been using the ATOTO P8 in my Honda Civic almost every day now for the past couple weeks, and it has been an extremely awesome upgrade for the car. I have a couple notes that I wanted to go over regarding the unit, but before that, I wanted to talk about the price. At the time of writing, the ATOTO P8 unit with the A6 chip costs about $149, and that also includes the camera inside the box, which you can mount forward-facing or use it as a backup camera, and I think for that price it is a very, very good deal. Not only is it a good deal, it is a very simple item to use, really easy to install. You don't need to do any kind of wiring work or any kind of modification to your car, and I chose to mount it onto the windshield instead of the dashboard, but inside the box you do get that sticky pad. That way you can mount it right on the dashboard if that's more convenient for you. Moving on to the hardware, it is a very nice unit. Like I said, it is a big enough screen that you can see all of the CarPlay menus, and not only that, it is very responsive. It also has the ability for you to output audio either through the aux jack that's on the power adapter, or it has an FM transmitter as well that you can program to use with your existing stock radio. It has wireless CarPlay capability and Android Auto, which is very, very good for the price. So either way, if you're both an Android or an Apple user, both of those things will work flawlessly with this unit. And I've used it with some of the CarPlay apps, and they work very, very good as well. I think at first, if you are not used to the Android style CarPlay units, some of the icons may be a little confusing, but I don't think that it takes very long to get used to it. It only took me about a day or so to get used to, for example, the auto dim function, as well as the audio output function and the FM transmitter, and also take some time to get used to the steering wheel remote. I didn't think I would like it, and originally I was never really going to mount it, but I found that it works pretty well on the e-brake, and it is nice. It has this little volume wheel here, play and pause over here, and the mute button, as well as track forward and reverse. So just a couple notes, like I mentioned before, it takes about 15 seconds for your phone to connect via wireless CarPlay, and about 8 of those seconds is the actual startup procedure for the ATOTO unit. It comes with that integrated USB adapter that's also going to power the unit. I found that the USB output on that adapter is good enough to use with wireless charging or just a regular iPhone cable. The mount that I used to mount it to the windshield is also very good. It's not jiggly over all the bumps that are here in New York City, so I do like that. And I was able to test out the camera that's included in the unit, and it is clear enough. And while I'm personally not going to install it onto my windshield, it can be wired either to the back windshield or the front one. So there is a setting there, that way you can use it as a backup camera or a forward-facing camera. It's definitely clear, and I used it with an SD card, and it does record very well. So if that's something that you're interested in and you don't want to buy a separate dash cam, I would definitely consider this P8 unit for that feature. The Bluetooth quality is good, but it is not that great. If you're the type of person that is an audiophile or likes listening to music a lot, you will lose some sound quality connecting your iPhone via CarPlay and then using the auxiliary output or the FM transmitter. So if you are concerned about that, I just want to note that you will lose some audio quality, especially in the bass department. However, if you're just listening to some audiobooks or podcasts on your daily drive to and from work, then using the Bluetooth feature is convenient. It's one less wire, and the quality is not bad. Other than that, I think that this is a very, very good purchase. If you're in the market for something very simple, easy to remove and move from car to car, or you just don't want to fiddle around with wiring or open up your dashboard and start removing panels, I think this is very, very good for the price. And even though ATOTO said that they are not as big as Sony, Pioneer, and Alpine, personally, I think they make a great product that you should consider, since it's a little more modern than some of those offerings that the bigger companies have, which, quite frankly, are sitting on the shelf right now, but are actually obsolete. For this price, for $150, you cannot get a name brand unit that has wireless CarPlay. If you do get a name brand unit for this price, and it will have a very, very dated user interface. Anyway, guys, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick little review of the ATOTO P8 on Navigator. If you like this video, don't forget to like and comment on it, and also consider subscribing to Bolts and Banter for more car audio videos like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.